Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're not going to be working on the 740. We're actually going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to be working on the daily. So I ordered the cheapest coilovers I could find for an S70, V70, P80 cars. So we'll do a quick unboxing. We'll check out the quality of these coilovers, and I'm not being paid by them or sponsored or anything. I just bought these, so you're going to get the honest truth out of me on them, what I think about them, if they're worth it, if they're junk. So we'll go ahead and get them out of the box, and we'll kind of go through all the parts you get with it, and then we're going to install them on the car, take it for a ride, and see if they're any good. Okay, so what does $350 get you when it comes to coilovers? This is a full kit. This was on eBay. It seems pretty well packaged. What I'm going to do is put this box on the ground so I can kind of display stuff. Alright, there's our front coilover. These actually look pretty nice. So pretty much what you get is your basic coilover. It's supposed to be direct bolt-in for front-wheel drive SV70 P80 cars. You've got ride height adjustment here. So you spin that in, that's your ride height adjustment. And then you've got your spring preload adjustment. It's got pillow ball uppers, which is kind of nice. Nothing too fancy, but... And then for the $350 option, you actually get the dampener adjustment as well. So these are the ones that were a little more money, but you've got adjustable dampening. So that's your basic front setup. They seem alright. Check this out, guys. This bag is just covered in oil. I don't know if you can see that, but like... So, there's number 2. Looks the same, so that's promising. And another rear spring, and then our adjustment wrenches. So they're all kind of some paint missing on a lot of this stuff, but whatever. Let's see. And then we got some wet brochures that are covered in oil. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, these are Maxpeedingrods. I don't know. So that's everything you get with the kit. No camber adjustment, so if you were looking for that, you'll have to order separate top hats. They are pillow ball though, so they should mount up with just about any aftermarket upper that you get. So we're going to go ahead, I got the car moved, we're going to get it up on jack stands, and we'll go ahead and set a little preload on the front springs and swap them out and kind of see where we land. So let's go ahead and jack up the car, make sure you put it on jack stands. We'll be right back. By the way, is there a louder noise in the world than dragging a floor jack across your driveway? Okay, so we got the car up on the jacks. We're gonna go ahead and take the wheels off and start pulling the old struts out. Alright, so on the 98 to 2000 Volvos, you've got your 2 strut lowers, one sway bar link, let's see, ABS wire bracket, and then up top there's just going to be the 3 bolts for the top hat. So alright, under the hood there's our 3 13mm. Yours won't look like this. Mine were extended studs because of the lift spacer I put in, but same thing. I don't remember if these bolts that came with this were like a size larger than stock. Yours might be 12mm, mine are 13s, but just something to keep in mind. I know it's pretty simple, but I want to be thorough, so we're gonna get these off, and I'll report back once we get this out of the way. Alright, those 3 top bolts are out. Now it's time to fight. And there it is. So now that that's out, we're going to go ahead and get some preload put on these front coilovers. Okay, so the old top bolts that came off my car have this nice flange on them, and the ones that come with the kit are just kind of generic bolts, so I'm actually going to switch them out and use the ones that were on my car, just because the hole where these mount, yeah, I don't like how small it is in comparison, so we're just going to use these. Just another thing to note. Alright, so everything seems to fit pretty well. The bolt holes that were in this shock body were the exact right size. We've got our ABS mount, which fits perfect, and it looks like our sway bar. We'll probably have to disconnect it from both sides before we can get it up there, just because this height has changed in relation to where the strut was. So once that's loose, it should pivot on its own and we can get it up in there, but for now we're gonna have to leave it off. Other than that, everything fits pretty well, so far so good. I'm gonna throw a wheel on it just to kind of get a gauge for like the height and everything. Okay, so everything clears. I'm not sure how much that spring's gonna settle. Again, like I said, I'm not sure even really the spring rates on these, but I'm gonna leave that right there so we can get the other side done, and we can get that sway bar bracket moved up to meet these. Then we'll come back over to this side, connect that sway bar, double check all our bolts, and that's pretty much gonna be it for the front. We'll see if we need to adjust the ride height at all. Okay, so we ran into our first issue. I was putting the other side on, and on these P80 cars you've got your main fuse box, and that's attached to a bracket that bolts to your top hats. So for whatever reason, hang on, let me get that in focus a little better. For whatever reason, these are spaced just a little bit further apart, and these will not go on. So I'm gonna have to take a file and file out some of the material on this bracket, just to get it to fit over both of these. So not a real big deal. All things considered, I expected a lot more problems, but just a small inconvenience. Yours may or may not have that problem, but something to be aware of. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this to fit on here. The rest of it's pretty much good to go. We'll get the wheels on it and we'll get it on the ground. Alright, there it is. So we got everything in. The car's down on the ground. Yeah, maybe they weren't lying about the spring rates. They are really, really stiff. So as you can see, you gotta do a little bit of adjusting. That's about the gap we've got now, which for a daily is not bad. I may just leave it as is, but I'm curious also to see how much lower these go. I'm gonna drive it like this though, just to see if it settles at all, see what these springs are like, and play with the dampening a bit. So I think my next thing to do is gonna be get the rear off the ground. For now I might just do a Novomat Fuller mod, which is just adding bolts to the Novomat to lower it down. For the shocks, because these don't have the ear on the bottom that mounts to where the Novomat shocks mount, I'd have to like figure out how to get that out of the old shock and get it put in here. So someday I may need to like take everything to somebody that has a press and like press it in there to get those shocks in, and at that point I may just do all of it. So for now I might just fool it just to get it low, just to kind of even out the ride height. Looks kind of Mad Max, like raked right now. But yeah, overall I would say the front install went really smooth. Other than those small little details that I showed you guys about, you know, the fuse box bracket didn't quite bolt up to the upper strut bolts. Again, $350 to my door for ride height adjustable, spring adjustable, and dampening adjustable. I think it's pretty good. Alright, so that's about it. Everything's on, tightened up. If the car doesn't look super low, it's because it's actually not. I kind of wanted to just keep it here and try it out for a little while. The rear, it didn't quite lower it as much as I thought it would. And I think it's because the spring in it is actually stiffer than I thought, but I mean, it's even. I mean, there's 2 fingers there, and we got 2 up here, so pretty even. Alright, we're gonna go for a quick little drive, bring it to put some air in the tires, make sure all that's good, and we'll do a little road test. I got the GoPro mounted on the door so we can kind of see what's going on with it, how stiff it is. Pretty much going to be listening for any weird little clunks or grinds or anything like that, but I've turned it around in the driveway. Everything felt pretty good, so we'll just go to the store right down the road and see how things go. Now, I'm not going to really be testing how the rear feels, just because that was my own doing. Mainly just going to be testing out the fronts to see, you know, how stiff they really are. I've got the dampener adjuster set all the way soft, so we'll see what that does. See how bad the alignment is too. It's actually not real bad. There's a speed bump. Okay. Now I know it's not super low, so I'm not real worried about speed bumps and like taking those or anything. Mainly just like the overall bumps in the road and like any holes. I kind of want to see how it handles them. Okay, there was a sewer grate. That was a little stiff. Alright, so I'll kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm feeling. As far as like corners go, it's okay. It's not like crazy race car handling, but that's fine for a daily. Now here's the train tracks. Kind of see. Yeah, not bad. But I mean, honestly, for 350 bucks, like, they ride really nice, and the car looks better. Once I get some wheels and everything, so I can kind of lower it to where I want it, I'm sure some things will change with that, as far as like how stiff it is. But I mean, just for being on the softest dampening setting, it's really not bad. It rides, kind of reminds me of when it was stock. Alright guys, we're back. So my final thoughts on should you buy $350 coilovers for your car. Now, I was skeptical. I went into it thinking, it's 350 bucks. If it doesn't work out, I can use the parts for this car or something. Install went really well. Everything seems pretty good. Driving, they're fine. I mean, they're about comparable to every other cheap coilover I've used, but cheaper. I mean, Racelands are still $500 or $600, $700, and these were 350 bucks. I'm gonna play around with the dampening some more and kind of see how it does in the next couple weeks, but as of right now, I can say I'm pleasantly surprised. And if you're just trying to get a car low or you want some adjustability, I probably wouldn't track these. It may be different car to car. If you have an S13 or a Miata or something, they might be alright. They're stiff. They seem to do well, so yeah, I don't see why not. Go check them out. I'll link it in the description below where I bought these. They were on eBay. And yeah, if you guys have any further questions or anything about the install, or you know, what I think about certain parts of it, just leave me a comment. I'm going to be doing a part 2 to this when I get around to getting the rear actually installed. When I get that little bushing pressed out and put into the new stuff. We'll see how the rears are actually, you know, comparable to the fronts, but for now, I mean, it looks pretty good, drives pretty good, no complaints, so check them out. Again, link in the description. For those of you that know me from the other videos from this car, we're going to be back on it. I got an episode in the works, and you're not going to want to miss this one. I'll put it up on Instagram ahead of time, just like a 24-hour notice kind of thing, so you know to look for that video. But yeah, I guess that's going to about wrap it up, guys, so thanks for checking it out. Catch you in the next one. Bye!